This caravan park stopped welcoming holidaymakers long ago. There's an old graffiti-covered sign at the entrance that says, "Dogs welcome, children tolerated." Perched on it, someone's welded a giant rusting sculpture of a bat. It grabs the top of the sign in its claws, and its broken jaw gapes at the road. I'm from ABC Radio.
Oh God, this is the greatest place to go.
Modern homes are nearby, but it's as if this caravan park has been cut off from the world. There's no public transport, and it's a long way to any shops. Mobile phones don't work, and you can't pick up the local television stations here because of the hills. Residents get a satellite television feed from the park office, and their local news is from Alice Springs or Perth. Dogs and geese roam the grounds.
Just go up that driveway there, and that red brick building is the office.
This is where Annie lives with her 16-year-old son and 11-year-old daughter. She's come up from New South Wales after her troubled teenage son trashed the house they were renting and they were evicted.
Basically punched quite a few holes in the house we were living in, and after they took my bond and I paid everything back, they still didn't let us live there, so here we are.
How do you find it here?
It's hard because of the reputation it's got. It's hard for my daughter to have friends over and stuff, but I mean, we like it. It's peaceful enough most of the time, yeah.
This caravan park has a reputation for violence and drugs. Annie's lucky enough to have a van in a relatively quiet corner. She doesn't have much choice anyway. She was broke and had to find a place fast after she was evicted.
I've gone through a 3-year custody battle to get my kids back from docks through hassles with my ex and stuff, and they finally realised that, yeah, the kids should be with me, but then they didn't want Tristan there.
Sounds like you need some help, though.
Who do you go to? The government agencies just fob you off from one person to the next, you know. Docs wanted me to charge him when he started bashing up my house so that he'd get sent to juvie. And I refused to do that. I even said to them, you know, if it comes to the crunch, I will tell the real estate that I did the damage to the house, so they don't charge him, they charge me. The thing is, he's been through court a zillion times, and all they get is a slap on the wrist.
What's he been doing?
Oh, he's done break and enters and assault, drunk and disorderly, lots of stuff.
The classic troubled teen. But he's of an age where you think he'd be able to get some help of some sort.
Well, there isn't really. I mean, unless he checks himself into rehab because he smokes pot, there's not really anybody that can help him. They just can't. There's just no facilities for teenagers. That's why we've got so many of them on the streets. And that's why so many of them smoke pot, as far as I'm concerned. It's the only way they get through the day.
There are caravan parks like this one around the country, but especially in Queensland. It's the cheapest place to live, but still, Annie pays $180 a week for a small van. Last month, she lost her job as an assistant nurse at a nearby aged care home that started laying off staff. After paying rent, she and her 2 children now live on $170 a week. And this is a hard place to live. Some of the residents in this caravan park are drug dealers, and some have just come out of jail. Many of the vans here are in a bad state. They're old and have been trashed over the years. Many have had their aluminium doors broken off and they've been replaced by plyboard. Walking around here, passing some of the open doors, you can often see drug utensils on tables. How you doing? Good. You Bob? Yeah, Bob. My name's Ian Townsend. Inside the park's office, I find Bob, the owner. He's sitting behind the counter. There are old tools and bags against the wall. Behind a table is what looks like the handle of a machete. Bob's owned the caravan park for more than 20 years and is a sort of father figure for some of the residents. He tries to keep the peace.
Jeremy, all I was doing last night was telling us...
A young man's just arrived to buy lollies. There's apparently been an argument the night before. And a warning here, there's some strong language coming up.
I don't like him, he's a drug head, he's a drug dealer, he's a fuckhead, okay? And I'm just trying to keep away from him because I know the dramas you're going through. That's all right.
I ask Bob if he thinks he's actually helping this young man.
No, it's not just that. It's just some people are easy led. And they've got the trouble in a place like this. We've got people that get involved in drugs, and And that bloke I just spoke to, his wife or his girlfriend just recently died of an overdose. And I think it come from it within here. Hey, and that's sad. Hey. And he sort of broke up, so I'll be there. Well, I've got to help him.
This place is pretty much ignored by everyone except a handful of charities. Outside the office, I'm speaking to Bob, the owner, and Desley, who's lived here for about 18 months.
We sort of help each other out too, which is a good thing, that community style of living.
You got this.
That's Homeless Connect, yeah.
You got guys that come here on Saturday and make barbecues.
We have the church people come out here regularly. Playgroup people come out here on Tuesday for the kids.
All the welfare people seem to come here because they think that they can help. There's probably more people out there with mortgage problems that they should help rather than be here.
Yeah, which is the truth of it, you know what I mean? Because we're living on the borderline anyway. Probably doesn't affect us as much as it'll affect...
You've really got nothing to lose, and so you've
right.
already hit bottom?
Rock bottom, so you can't go any further down. The next place is out in the gutter.
What Desley's saying is that it's too late to help the people here. It's a grim picture, and this caravan park actually has people waiting to get in. Bob's been turning away families with 4 children.
If you've got 4 kids, you need a house, and you probably can't get a house. I just haven't got the capability of having those sort of people.
You know, if things get bad out there, would you expect more people to come knocking on your door?
I'd say it's going to happen, yes. But I can't take families. I'm not equipped. But I have had phone calls over the last couple of weeks of especially unmarried mothers with 3 or 4 kids, and I just haven't got the facilities.
This caravan park on the Gold Coast is in one of the fastest growing parts of the country, and it might also be one of the country's most isolated communities. These people are poor. There's no public transport. Most don't have phones. They can't get any local television news. There's a sense that they've been left behind, neglected by society. For the children here, that's a big danger. At night there are fights, yelling, intoxicated people walking around, and some children are out late. A few days after Background Briefing visited, a man died in a caravan fire. No family would really want to live here if they had a choice. It feels dangerous. But as bad as things might be, for most parents, nothing is worse than having their children taken away. And that's still the main way the Child Safety Department in Queensland handles the problem of abuse. The President of the Queensland Council of Social Services, Karen Walsh.
When in doubt, remove. So you've now got like 7,000 children in out-of-home care. You've got more Indigenous children in care than at the height of the stolen generation and removal of children. So we haven't learnt from the past, and we haven't developed the strategies that can support those parents actually do something about whatever is the barrier to them protecting and caring for their children.
In some cases, it's simply too dangerous to leave a child with its parents. But there's a sense that many children shouldn't be in foster care. And it doesn't solve the basic problem that these families have. The trauma of removing kids and of labelling their parents as maltreaters can sometimes do more harm than good.
Well, in some cases, for the child to get the services that the government's put in through child safety, they have to be in care and under the guardianship of the state. Whereas if the parent had access to that level of resourcing prior to that, they wouldn't have to be in care. I mean, I know a young woman who had severe postnatal depression. I mean, that is a health issue in its own right. She needs the support and resources to manage that in the early stages of parenting. She shouldn't have to be labelled at risk of abuse and neglect in order to access those services. If a mother or a parent dies, people shouldn't be labelled as maltreaters to get a service. They should be given a service because, you know, they've had an experience that's disrupted their ability for a while.
Many of the big public health problems we have today can be traced back to bad policies that left people traumatised. Karen Walsh.
We institutionalised children because we didn't have a social security system. So many children in the 50s and post-war were placed into orphanages and institutions because of a whole range of reasons. And a lot of those people have grown up as adults not knowing their identity, thinking they were abused and neglected, only to find out that they had a mother who was ill, or they had the father died, or they couldn't have work. That poverty was really the underlying.
Mudgery Trailer Park. Been here 2 years, seen the highs and the lows, many close calls.
They did a number on it, didn't they, Franco?
At the moment, though, at the Mudgery Holiday Village, Annie is trying to raise her 2 children without any help. If she succeeds, it'll be in spite of the problems and thanks to her determination to keep her life and her family under her control.
Come on, Scrap.
Do you have services coming in?
No, not really. No, the kids basically fend for themselves. A lot of them in here are just scary little kids, but yeah, my kids basically stay home. There's one of my boys. He's a monster. So yeah, anything else you need to know?
No, good luck.
No?
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Nice
You have
to
a
meet
good day.
you and really good
Thanks.
luck.
All right, we're fine. We're all good. You've got to make it. You've got to stay positive, because the moment you let yourself go and start thinking negative, you may as well just throw up and die. And hey, it's a roof over your head, food in your mouth, so... And we're together, and that's what matters. You have a lovely day. Come on, Scruffy.
Background Briefing's coordinating producer is Linda McGuinness. Research by Anna Whitfeld. Technical production this week by Mark Don. The executive producer is Kirsten Garrett. I'm Ian Townsend, and this is ABC Radio National.
You've been listening to another ABC Radio National podcast. ABC Radio National.